you don't want to start a business and have the business own you, control you. Welcome back. So this is part 3 of our 4-part series on the books you can read to change your life. Okay. So if you haven't done part 1 and part 2, you probably want to do those first, at least part 1. So you get the gist, you get the background of what we're doing. Now I'm going to dive into the second set of books. I broke it down in 4 books. So part 2, part 3, and part 4, I'm going to show you 4 books each, so it doesn't take forever. And now these are 4 books. In the first 3 months, January, February, March, April, the first 4 books, I started off pretty heavy. I like to, it's, the new year, you want to get going, you're setting your goals, and it's like, let's just do this. These 4 months, you're going in the summer season, things are busy, things are hotter, you don't want to be thinking as much. And so these books, a couple of them are really about how to think, change of perspective, not really so much work related or to do work, not to do stuff. So let's just get into that. The first book we have is called The Slight Edge. It's The Slight Edge, Turning Simple Disciplines into Massive Success. Now, this is a short book, a very simple concept, one that I could explain to you in 5 seconds, maybe not 5 seconds, but it's very simple and it's still worth reading. You get the examples, you get the illustrations and whatnot, and it's a quick read. Basically, the idea is the one about knowing where you're going and making small incremental steps to get there. For example, you got a plane that's going from Miami to New York. If it's on track, it'll get to New York. If it's off by even a couple degrees and it doesn't correct, then guess what? It ends up way off course, right? Somewhere in like Iceland or something. It'll never get to New York. So that's the kind of simple here. It's like when you want to do something, there are certain steps that we have to take, and we have to take them over and over and over again. Now, it's very simple to not do those things, to take those steps. But in the long run, it's very difficult when you don't do them because it's a problem for you. If you have a goal and you say, hey, look, I want to accomplish this. I want to go back to school and get my degree. There are certain things you have to do on a daily basis. Is it simple to just say, no, I'm tired, I don't want to do my homework? Yeah, very simple. It's like, I just worked all day. I don't want to go back. I don't want to do this. It's very simple for you to miss a day, miss 2 days. But if you keep missing and keep missing and keep missing, eventually you're going to flunk out and the whole goal is gone. So the first couple times you do it, no big deal, no harm done. You might get away with it. But if you keep building and building and building, then it just doesn't work out. Same with trading. If you don't follow the rules in your trades, there might be a trade that it doesn't matter. The trade still works out. There might be another one. It just doesn't matter. There might be another one that works out. But then eventually there'll come a time where you won't even remember what the rules are. And there'll be a time where you mess up and you don't do it and the thing goes bad and it just completely destroys you. If you want to do something, the book says, you're taking simple disciplines, just simple, small things. You just have to do small steps. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And that's all the book is telling you. It's like you figure out what are those steps and you just do them slowly, and you have the discipline, you have the desire, and the book that's all it's about. And it's telling you how to do that. I mean, it's a very simple book. It's very hard to live by. And so that's why you need the constant reminder. You have to read it again and again and again. But when you do, and you get you back on track, you accomplish things like crazy. It's really, really powerful, very powerful. So the next one, and now this one is called The 4-Hour Work Week. There's probably, I think there's a second edition out. So this book is outdated. I don't even know if it's worth for everybody to read this. So this one might not work for you. You might want to take this one out and put in another one. I'll tell you what this one is about. Now, this book came out years ago and I actually met the author, hung out with him. We went to a Berkshire Hathaway meeting together along with a group of other people, but the book had just come out. He had come with our group. He had come with us. Really smart guy. Tim Ferriss is his name. He's got a very popular podcast. I mean, the guy is blown up. He's very famous. The book is The 4-Hour Work Week, and it's basically, he came up with the idea years ago, and he didn't come up with it. He wrote a book about it. The idea was already there, but he made outsourcing pretty popular in common knowledge. Outsourcing is basically, right, it's taking a job from here and having somebody overseas do it. His whole thesis of the book is that you can create a business online and you can have people in other countries doing the work for you, and basically you don't have to do any work. Kind of the gist of it. People are like, what? I don't have to hire a secretary in my office? I could hire somebody in the Philippines that would work for like $3 an hour and do just as good a job? It's possible. Nowadays, it's common. There's almost no company that only has all their employees in one location. People are virtual, people are all over the world. For example, our team, I am the only one in the office at OptionGenius. We have an office. I'm the only one here. It gets kind of lonely sometimes. We have one of our traders, Matt. He lives in Alabama. We have my manager. She lives in North Carolina. We have another trader who lives in California. We have Harriet, who does customer service. She lives in the Philippines. Kevin, who helps me with my podcast, he also lives in the Philippines. And then we got Raymart, does our video editing. He also lives in the Philippines. Most of our team either lives in the US or lives in the Philippines. So that's what the book is really about, how to find people that will do a great job that are cheaper because they're living somewhere that's cheaper. They're living in overseas. Doesn't mean you have to give them cheap money, but that's how it works. Economic. The book itself is outdated because nowadays everybody knows about outsourcing. There are plenty of resources. You can go online to say, hey, I want to hire somebody overseas, and there's a million website and companies that will help you find the perfect person to hire overseas or wherever for whatever task you want. There's nothing new in that book, but the reason I like to read it is because of the idea that he has in there that the business itself that you create is for your benefit as the business owner. His thinking is that you don't want to start a business and have the business own you, control you. He wants to start a business that can run on its own by smart people that are given the authority to run the business. And then you get to go do whatever you want. You get to travel. You get to go to school. You get to do your hobbies, hang out with your family. You get to do whatever you want. And you're making money from this business. It could be a side business. It could be a bigger business. Most big businesses do require, if you want a full-time income from a business, most likely you have to be involved. You can't just dictate and abdicate responsibility and let other people do the work. You can't really do it unless you've already established and built the business. This is mostly for like side hustles and things like that, but people can make pretty good living nowadays with all the tools and the Zoom calls and everything. It's outsourcing and doing stuff online has become easier than ever. And so if you have kids and they are not doing some kind of online business or learning or marketing or whatever, I think it's a big mistake. That one, I read it for myself to remind me of the reason why I started business, the reason why I got into trading, so that I don't have to work for money and that I could just go do what I want. Now, I enjoy making stuff like this, content for you guys, and I enjoy trading. And so it's not a burden, but still it gives me a reminder like, oh yeah, I wanted to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. That's one of my things. Like, oh yeah, I want to do a bike race that's 100 miles in a day. I want to do that. And those two things, they take a lot of training. You can't just wake up one day and do them. And so I'd have to prepare and I have to get ready and preparations and all the equipment. Somebody has to take me up to Kilimanjaro because I'm not going by myself. All kinds of crazy stuff. You have to know in advance what you want. And that's why I like that book. The third book that I want to talk about in this part is called Millionaire Success Habits. I got this book for free. The author was giving them away for free. So you might even do a website search for this one, how to get millionaire success habits for free. It might pop up. And this book, it was written as a marketing piece for the author because he has a course that he's selling. He's got a whole bunch of other stuff that he's selling. But the book itself, he's got a lot of good content in here. He's got a lot of good exercises in here. And it's really about how you can change your thinking, change your mentality, change your psychology to become a millionaire. Like, what are the habits of successful people? What are the habits of rich people? What do they do that non-rich people don't do? And he goes through those and he helps you figure out what are the things that you're not doing that you can do and how to change it. So this one does take a lot of work. So this one is a heavy book. It does take a lot of time to implement. One of the examples that he talks about in here is the why exercise. Whenever you create a goal, it has to be a very big goal, something challenging, something really worth accomplishing. And any of those type of goals, they always have challenges. There's always something going to stand in your way and you might want to quit. You might want to give up. You might say, no, I can't do this. It's too hard. It's taking too long. I don't know if it's worth it. Trading is like that. Trading is really like that. I mean, sometimes you'll do great and then one day the market will just slap you silly and you're gonna be like, man, is it worth this pain? I feel horrible. I feel so bad. I feel so stupid. I made a mistake, blah, blah, blah. Is it worth it? The only way you're going to continue is if you really, 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 really know your why. And I talk about this a lot too. It's like, what is your why? What is the real reason that you're trading? It's just because you want to make some extra money? Then you ain't going to stick around very long, to be honest. You got to have something besides money. You got to have something that you desire much more than money. So that desire can get you through the challenges and the pain that are going to come, because trading, I guess you could say it's easy easy, but it's not simple, or it's simple, but it's not easy. I'm not sure which one. I can give you the rules. I can give you everything, but you got to follow it. You got to do it. And there will be losses along the way. There will be hardships. There will be unknowns, a lot of unknowns in trading. We never know what's going to happen tomorrow in trading. Nobody can predict it. We just have to go with the flow. That can be very hard and taxing on you emotionally and mentally and physically. You have to know your why. In this book, he goes through the exercise of the 7 whys. So you start off asking, and you do it with another person, and it's basically, hey, tell me, why do you want to get good at trading? And then you come up with an answer. And the person says, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool. Why do you want that? And he goes, it's like a level deeper. And then you have to give a reason why you want that second thing. And he goes, oh, that's wonderful. That's great. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so tell me, why do you want that second thing? It's like, oh, okay. And you give another reason. And then, okay, why do you want that third thing? Why do you want that fourth thing? Why do you want that fifth thing? Then by the time you get level after level after level, deeper, the real reason comes out. The real explanation of why you want to do something comes out. And that's when you might even cry, because that desire or that frustration is so strongly built up in you that you don't even know is there. But if you do this exercise, it kind of unleashes that, brings it to the surface, and allows you to really know deep desire that you have. And you might not be even conscious of it. So this is one of the examples in there. It's a great one. I urge you to do it. Get that book, read it, go through it, implement it. Really good book. And then I'm going to end this one with a book that is a reader and a thinker, not really too much of a doer, maybe a little bit of a doer. It's Tuesdays with Morrie. Now, you probably already read this one. It came out a long time ago. It's the story of an old man, a young man, and life's greatest lesson. Basically, how to live your life. The author here is a true story. The author was a journalist, and he realized that his favorite college professor was dying. And so he would go every Tuesday and hang out with him. And he recorded the lessons that he learned from the man about how to live a great life, how to enjoy yourself, how to be happy. And he wrote those in a book. It's a short book, but it tugs at your heartstrings and makes you realize a lot of things about life. Because, I mean, think about it. We went through the slight edge. Then we went the 4-hour work week that teaches about work. Then we did the millionaire success habits. We need a break from reading. And so that's why I put this one in there, because even though this one will make you cry, at least it does for me, it makes you think about life. It makes you appreciate life. But there's no work really involved in this unless, you have some issues with somebody, your brother, your sister, your parents that you got to resolve. That might be a good thing. This book might help you do that. But in a sense, it's a story that you read and you really learn and you appreciate what you have. You appreciate your life and you feel good about it. That's it for these 4 books. I got one more part of the series coming up, which is going to be part 4. So go ahead and check that one out as well to finish it out. Those are going to be the last 4 books of the year. And again, like I said, with the 4-hour work week, if it doesn't work for you, you can put something else instead. If you don't care about outsourcing, you don't care about virtual assistants, anything like that, if you don't want to run a business, that book is not for you. That's fine. Take it out, put something else in. That's the way it works. So you fit this for what you want. Now, these 4 books, I think the Slight Edge is great for everybody. The Millionaire Success Habits, it's good for everybody, even if you don't want to be a millionaire. He talks about money, most of it, but even if you don't want to be a millionaire, you just want to be successful and happier, it's a great book. And then Tuesdays with Morrie, everybody can read that. In fact, Morrie's son has come out with another book called Wisdom of Morrie, which I have on my shelf waiting to be read. I haven't read it yet, but like I said, I don't have time for it because I need to focus on my 12 books and read them every year. I'm going to work on myself first, and I'm working on not having to finish that book. It's sitting there. It's there. I know it's there. I'll get to it eventually. But for now, let's go and let's head to part number 4 of this series.